Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Bastions and Basilisks. I'm Kalvin,
I am Brandon.
and today we are talking about Clerics.
The clerks.
Clerics.
The healers.
Hey, no, that is something I have to fix for myself, but they are not just healers. And
That is what people assume they are.
I know, which is a trap card that I fall into all of the time.
I enjoyed.
We have discussed that literally the only primary caster class that can heal is the wizard. So,
yeah, it's actually quite funny. And technically, if you get what is it? Cure Wounds is a first level spell. So if you get a feat, I think what it is, Magic Initiate, you can get a cantrip and a first level spell. You can get Cure Wounds. Like you can get Cure Wounds. It's not that difficult.
Right. Yep. I mean, that's only once per long rest, but.
I mean, shit, it's still not bad for. It's a first level Cure Wounds, but still.
All right. Clerics are 1d8 hit die. They get light armor, medium armor, and shields. They get all simple weapon proficiencies, no tools. Saving throws are wisdom and charisma. They can choose from history, insight, medicine, persuasion, and religion. Which is funny that perception isn't one of theirs, but wisdom is their primary stat, so it makes sense. They don't need any of additional. So clerics are interesting as compared to bards get spells known, artificers get less spells prepped. Clerics get their wisdom modifier plus their cleric level of spells they can prep per day. But they also have access to all of the spells for that level when they prep their spells, which is really useful. They don't get as many spells as wizards, so they're not as versatile per se, especially with wizards being able to do any ritual spell they know cast out of their spell book. But still, having knowing day to day and having access to, because they still get a decent amount of spells, having access to their spells and being like, all right, this is what I'm going to use for today, is supremely bork 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 bork. Shut up. Woo woo woo. I'm alone. In general. But I am. But my roommates are gone until Wednesday, and my son is visiting his mother until tomorrow when I pick him up. So shut the fuck up.
Okay.
So they're like, when are the mamas coming back? So anyway, they pick their divine domain. That's also one of the cool things about clerics is they get their divine domain at first level. I think they are one of the few classes that choose at first level, and they have some really good ones. And they get domain spells, so they get spells on top of their normal spells. They get 2 additional spells that they can choose from per casting level. So first, third, fifth, seventh, ninth, etc. That aren't specifically cleric spells. And those are their domain spells. They always have it prepared, and it doesn't count against the number of spells they can prepare each day.
That's really cool.
So they effectively have 2 additional spells per day prepped per, so once they're 5th level, that's 6 additional spells prepped. So, and they're often not cleric spell. I think they're often not cleric spells. I could be wrong, but it's one of those things that, once again, they have more access. They're like, all right, well, I know that I have this and this from this domain, so I don't have to worry about prepping that. Channel Divinity. At 2nd level, you gain the ability to channel divine energy directly from your deity, using the energy to fuel your magical efforts. You start with 2 such effects. Turn Undead and an effect determined by your domain. Some domain grants you an additional effects as you advance in levels. When you use your Channel Divinity, you choose which effect to create. You must finish a short or long rest. It's really good that it's a short rest to get it back. Some require a saving throw. At 6, you can use it twice between rests, and 18, you can use it 3 times between rests. Turn Undead is rarely the best use of it, but when it is useful, it is really useful. Shut the fuck up!
I'm glad I can read lips. I can just see you mouthing "shut the fuck up." It's actually very humorous. I have no idea where you're going with this, honestly.
As an action that you present your holy symbol and speak a prayer censuring the undead. Each undead that can see or hear you within 30 feet of you must make a wisdom save to tell their dog to shut up. If the creature fails its saving throw, it is turned for 1 minute or until it takes damage. That is actually super important. Because you do it, things fail, they start running away from you. As long as you don't damage them, they'll keep running away. So you could, if you get ambushed by, you're level 2 or 3 and you get attacked by 12 zombies or whatever, and you go boop, you could like target them down.
Yeah, it actually be able to
I said, and the fact that you don't have to choose which one per day. Like, you're not like, all right, today I'm going to have Turn Undead. You have access to both. You just choose which version you get to use. So that's really useful. Turn creature must spend its turn trying to move as far away from you as it can, and it can't willingly move to a space within 30 feet of you. It also can't take reactions, which means you could just run around them, or run. I'm thinking of older editions. You could just run by them. For its action, it can only use the dash action or try to escape from an effect that prevents it from moving. If there's nowhere to move, the creature can use its dodge action. And the fact that it's take damage, so you could do that, and then, there's the spell. Entangle. That's the word that was the one.
I know what you're talking about.
So, if you don't want them to move away.
Yeah,
or if they're already entangled, you cast that. Now they're not going to try to attack you. Fourth, they get ability score improvement 4th, 8th, 12th, 16th, and 19th, like mostly every other class. Destroy Undead starting at 5th level. When an Undead fails to saving throw against your Turn Undead feature, the creature is instantly destroyed if its challenge rating is at or below a certain threshold, as shown in the Destroy Undead table. So it starts at 5th, it goes 5th, 8th, 11th, 14th, and 17th, and it starts at half a CR or lower, goes up to 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. We were going through the Lost Shrine of Temujin, and me and the Cleric, my wizard, this was just my red wizard, the wizard and the Cleric were kind of going down one hallway, and there's a trap where suddenly 12 zombies appear, and she was just like, oh, and she went first, and she's just like, Turn Undead. And we were level 6, so she just melted 12 zombies in an instant. I was like, that was sexy.
You just saved us all having to...
I mean, I wasn't... I was like, okay, that's nice, I like that. So, I think I did something. I was like, pew, 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 or something, but it was... Divine Intervention, which is really one of the most badass abilities of a Cleric. Beginning at 10th level, you can call on your deity to intervene on your behalf when your need is great. Imploring your deity aid requires you to use your action, describe the assistance you seek, and roll percentile dice. If you roll a number equal to or lower than your Cleric level, your deity intervenes. The DM chooses the nature of the intervention. The effect of any Cleric spell or Cleric domain spell would be appropriate. If your deity intervenes, you can't use this feature again for 7 days. Otherwise, you can use it again after you finish a long rest. At 20th level, your call for intervention succeeds automatically, no roll required. Which means you effectively can get a wish spell once a week.
Okay, so I don't get this. The equal to or lower than your level. So if you're so you have to have at level 10, it has to roll a 10 or lower?
Correct.
Okay, just had to make sure.
Yeah. No, 15 okay. Or lower.
I got it.
The highest you ever get is 19 or lower. And then automatically succeeding.
I find this kind of funny because like in I
I find it kind of
obviously I
sad that the dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. No, anyway, sorry.
Jesus Christ, that went lyrically different direction. But so obviously dealing with Critical Role, how Ashley Johnson's character in the first campaign, Pike, they completely did this differently with the divine intervention. If even if it failed, she was forced to wait 7 days. So I don't know if Matt Mercer decided to do that or anything, but I kind of noticed that because she failed, and obviously she's going back and forth between her acting stuff, but it never really got touched on, and I kind of noticed how it's like, hey, that's like reading this, it's like I never actually got to play Cleric up to this level, so I never really got
I
to
would
focus
say,
on it. But it's actually it's interesting.
considering I think during the first season they also didn't do bonus action spells and normal spells correctly.
Yeah, he
So
he
I
had
think
it to where he
yeah,
felt different.
it's there were some nuances that they didn't get the first season. So
Yeah, because didn't they just transfer from like third edition?
no, they transferred from Pathfinder. They went from first edition
Yeah, three point
Pathfinder to
five.
fifth edition D&D. So that's why they had the gunslinger, because
Yeah, they were like
gunslinger is a Pathfinder class.
they were like changing some stuff around. I know
Yeah,
that
so
like
it's one of those things where you're like, motherfucker, you're doing it wrong. That's not how it works. Which I will do that with regardless. Like I will sit at the table. I would sit at the table with anybody. I would sit at the table with Gary Gygax, and if he does it, I'd be like, that's not what it says in the book.
yeah, and Gary Gygax kind of fucking made this.
But no, not this edition. Ha!
Not
Game
this
set
edition.
match.
Yeah, you're right.
Checkmate Jin Yahtzee, my friend.
You're right.
Chris Perkins, I would be like, no, that's not what it says in the book. Although he would know that, but point is, and people will be like, oh, bro, your rules lawyer. I'd be like, yeah. If you are going to change something, tell us before we start the game what you are changing.
Yeah, I try to say
There's
that.
a difference between like, oh shit, that's how it is. Okay, well, that we're gonna do it this way. I'll read it later, and then I'll make a decision. That's fine. But like, it's people that are like, no, like I'm doing it this way. I'm like, all right, you should have told us how you were ruling specific things before. But so yeah, I think I'm gonna bank on the sake of he probably didn't read that correctly and just assumed it was anytime you use it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like,
So
because I again haven't really read the Cleric. Like, usually when I go into a class I don't know, I do like a quick skim of everything, and then like I don't retain a lot of the knowledge. It's usually something that I really enjoy. I'll retain. But Channel Divinity, because of how I did watch that part, I was like, I know what it's like. It's like only a week, and then I was completely fucking wrong.
right.
So it's actually interesting because dealing with the cleric, I have played the death cleric domain and the blood cleric domain, two really very fun ones. Actually, like the joke that I stated earlier, whenever I played a cleric, I actually didn't really focus on healing. I specifically went into hurting people. I want to do I'm going to kill you for like for the joke, I'm going to kill you for Jesus, as my character who worshipped Anubis would say.
That's
so
I'm gonna kill you for Jesus.
yeah, my character was a hobgoblin in this entire situation that worshipped Anubis. It was
sorry, that reminds me of the Garfunkel and Oates. Fuck me in the ass if you love Jesus.
Yeah,
the good Lord wouldn't want it that way.
I know the song. I just didn't know who made it.
Yeah, it's Garfunkel
and
Oates.
Great.
They are so funny. I think it's Oates.
Jesus.
I might be mixing up, but it's yeah. This is not a child show. Yeah, I think my like I said, I played older edition, so I played 3rd edition, I played 4th edition. 4th edition clerics, especially with how the rules work, they have an ability that they can use that is really powerful at like 5th level, because one of their, I think it's a daily ability that they have. It's once per day they can use it, where their dog barks. And anybody within like, yeah, I just, sassy. Where it's centered on them, like 10, 15, I think 15 feet. 15 feet away from them. Anybody who starts their turn bloodied heals for X amount. I don't remember what it is exactly.
That's impressive because bloodied is what, half your health or
half
lower?
your hit points, yeah. So also fun fact, if you are making death saving throws, you are technically bloodied. So every turn you heal because at that point you're at 0 hit points. Unlike 3rd edition where you would go into the negative hit points, in 4th edition you would be at 0 hit points. So you would heal X amount of hit points. Yes,
that's not bad.
I know that you know how to open doors.
That's actually impressive.
Yeah, so you could keep up your entire group
just by being near them.
Just by focus, just by using that ability. I think you had to maintain it, but
that's still pretty decent.
It is. It's really good. Yeah, so I played in 3rd edition. I played Clerics. Actually, the only reason we survived, specifically one encounter that I remember, is the GM was being really nice because he didn't realize how broken the monsters we were fighting were, and so he kind of let I had a thing where essentially like I would cast a spell and everybody or all X amount of allies would gain fast healing for a certain amount of time. And I had another thing that increased the healing that they get based on the level of the spell I cast. So everybody's getting like 7 hit points every round. And so it was a whole thing. But like, the only reason we survived was because I built a healer. That was my dwarf who had an 8 dexterity, so that means that I went on a 0 initiative order sometimes. I've gone at negative too. That's always been fun.
When you have to wait for the next round.
It's right. I go every other round. That's how shitty my initiative is. So it is one of those things where to me, like, I get it. If you are a character, this doesn't even apply to just clerics, but if you are a character who has a healing spell and people are dropping, your dogs will bark, and then you will have to cast a healing spell.
Just imagine a druid or like a ranger that has like their animal with them, and it's just your dog has to bark. If it doesn't bark, you don't get to heal anyone.
You don't get to heal.
So you're literally just sitting there choking on your blood, hoping this fucking dog barks.
Like, I gave you bacon.
Chaotic neutral fucking clerics or healers.
So, but no, like, if it's one of those things. Like, I get it. Like, you don't want to be stuck as a healer or something. Like, not everybody has access to healing. Like,
yeah, and the sad thing
if I'm
is,
the fighter, or I guess not the fighter, but like, my monk was getting the shit kicked out of him, and like, fuck it, keep me up. Like, if you're playing something, like, I mean, we'll go into it. Especially if you're a life domain cleric, like, that's literally what you do.
This is my view on it. Like, everyone has their purpose. Like me personally, if I'm playing a cleric or anything with healing capabilities, that's my main focus. Is I'm going to make sure everyone else has, because usually my characters and the people I play with, we already have a fuck ton of healing potions. But we try to focus on healing first. Like, if we're going the fuck down and we know we're going to be having a huge issue, like, healing is such a big thing that we will sometimes forget that attacks exist. Like, I remember there was a time where I was 5th level and the other guy playing was 5th level, and he was a gunslinger, so he has, like, second wind and such, and I was a blood hunter. My character had no healing spells. This was before I decided to do Jizzle, and this guy spent like 3 turns just healing himself while I only had 1 healing potion. And if I did any of my blood rights or any of my stuff, right, because it's back before the new shit, like, all I could do was blood rights, the curse stuff, the blood curses, and I couldn't like amplify them or anything, so I ended up like doing like blood curse of the fallen puppet extensively, to where it's like, oh, reaction, this guy's gonna hurt him, and then when the next guy goes down, that guy's gonna hurt him, and it's like I'm like well over 30 feet away, just kind of like looking at people trying not to get hurt, because if I get even blown on, I'm going down. Well, this guy is just second winding whenever he gets low. It's just like I'd much rather not die. And he's like way too far away from me to actually give me a healing potion. And I'm not going to just look at this, like, loot a body hoping to get a healing potion in the middle of a firefight, Like, it's not really worth it.
Shut up!
Poor dogs.
Yeah. which that's actually why I really like. I don't know if we haven't brought it up, and I think we brought it up at some point in the class video. The purple dragon knight. That is one of those things where that's a perfect situation where you're like, oh, I will just scoot on over. I'll blue skidoo my way over next to the blood hunter, and I'll use if I'm gonna use my healing surge anyway, I use my healing surge, and then I heal you. And if you were able to use healing surge, I don't know if you can use it 3 times a day, but like if you can use healing surge, be like, heal, I heal, you heal. Like there's no negative to it. Like you got to use it tactically, but you're a fighter. If you want to play a character that just beats the shit out of things and isn't tactical, play a barbarian. But yeah, like Life Domain Cleric is good. The Cleric in that I was playing with was Tempest, which is really cool. Also, the funny thing is they give Clerics only up to medium armor and shields. Unless you are playing, like, at least half of the fucking domains.
Yeah, half the domains give you, like, heavy armor, don't they?
Yeah. Knowledge doesn't get it. Life Domain gets heavy armor. Light Domain doesn't get it. Nature Domain gets it. Tempest Domain gets it. Trickery Domain doesn't get it. War Domain sure as fuck gets it. Like I'm like, half... And that's just the ones in this book. Like, they have, I think, at least, like, 2 or 3 more in, like, Xanathars. Like,
It makes no sense. Like the amount, like, I'm sorry, as a cleric, I kind of feel like you need to have like the heavy armor. Like, not saying like obviously not all of them do, but just saying.
Right. So, the domains, like we'll probably go over cleric domains at some point, but both
like all the other ones.
Their channel divinity is really cool, and actually, Abrea, I think it's Abrea. She did the Exandria Unlimited thing. She was playing a Tempest Domain Cleric in Roll20's like side quest thing. With actually Matt was in that one because Matt got to play, which was it's nice when Matt gets to play. So
yeah, I still have yet to see the Exandria Unlimited. I heard Matt was really good in that.
But, so, they're fighting somebody, and she casts... Because I think they're 5th level. So she casts... Call Lightning, which is... I think 3d10. Or if
3d10.
it's raining... If it's raining or cloudy... If it's cloudy, if it's even just cloudy, it's 4d10. With their channel divinity... when you roll lightning or thunder damage, you can use your channel divinity to do maximum damage instead of rolling. So she hit somebody with call lightning. They failed their saving throw. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna use my channel divinity. They take 40 fucking damage.
That dude's immediately fucking hurt.
He was not happy. He like that. This is one of those things where one single roll or one single decision shifts the entire balance. Because like they were getting the shit kicked out of him. And then suddenly, that guy has way less hit points than he originally had, and suddenly, like, the entire plan goes out the window. Like, they're like, no.
Now, like, he's like, you literally tickled me so hard, I have to rethink our friendship.
So, I mean, you could, that's also with, you could do that with, Thunder Wave. Maximize the Thunder Wave, like, because... Like, Lightning Bolt, which they get, that is one of their no, they don't. They get Call Lightning. Okay, I thought they got Thunderbolt. They get Thunder Wave and Call Lightning. Like, if they can get Lightning Bolt, like, that's maximum damage in a 100-foot line. Like,
yeah, that's pain.
Which, that's 8d6. So, yeah. Clerics are... I think the only reason I don't play Clerics is because I played a lot of them in 3rd edition, and I feel like I have to be the healer, and I don't like being forced into that role, so just because I'm the only one who seems to give a shit sometimes.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I don't think I have a Cleric in my campaign, actually, so far.
But yeah, they have so many good domains. Like, they tell you about in my, I think I told you about my Descent into Avernus game. My brother, who rolled so poorly on athletics checks to begin with that it started a trend of anytime he rolled a nat 1 on athletic checks, he would get a hernia.
I remember something similar
Yeah,
to this,
and
but not
so
very
at
well.
one point, like in one dungeon, he rolled at least I think 3 times, and it was just one of those things.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was hilarious. And my sister was playing a life domain cleric, and then so she was going to do the Appalachian Trail, so she was leaving the game, and we made like. I was like, how funny, because he rolled like a like a really bad knowledge check or whatever in the beginning of the bathhouse. When you're in the bathhouse and there's 3 doors.
Oh yeah.
There's the 3 doors in like I think it's like the second or third room after the fungus. Like there's 3 doors and like it's Baal, whatever. That's the 3 gods.
Yeah.
He rolled so poorly. He's like, oh yeah, that's this, but only a cleric of Baal can open that door. So he's like, hey. Halfling, go open that door. Because he's like, fuck, because he was playing a cleric of Asmodeus. So he's like, go open the door. And she was able to open the door. She was like, So he's skeptical of her. He like thought that she might be. And then so I just bought into it. I was like, fuck it. So like before she left, it was revealed that she had been a cleric of Baal this whole time.
I remember this conversation.
Just because it was funny. I was like, it's too funny not to. Like, it's too funny. So... But yeah, clerics are a good class. I mean, they're tanky. I mean, they only get D8 hit points, but they get medium armor. I mean...
Imagine if you get that heavy armor, dude.
Yeah, I mean, and 50% of the ones in the player's handbook get heavy armor.
Yeah.
So, which I think actually you can choose. So, of their equipment, you can choose scale mail, leather armor, or chainmail if proficient, which means if you're choosing one of the domains, if you're like life... or war, you can choose chainmail. So you can start the game with chainmail, which is pretty good. And a shield. Like, you're a tank that can heal. So, they really are. They are a really good class.
I'm just imagining, like, Jesus walking onto a battlefield with, like, a war axe, and he goes... It's okay, child. And he just lifts up like the orc that has like a war hammer, and he's just like, Jesus has saved me. And then he just rips the head off of some dude, and he goes, Jesus has saved you. And he just wipes his spear.
Yeah,
he just imagine like this whole war scene with Jesus all of a sudden.
Right. I am the Son of God. Clerics are a really good.
He's a war cleric.
War cleric, yeah. Clerics are a really good class. Like I said, once again, it's not the only thing once again, rarely do I dislike a class specifically because of the class itself.
I am kind of surprised that, like...
like I've said, I fall into the trap myself of being like, oh, you're a cleric, you heal, that's what you do. And, and I try not to, and it does make me angry when there is a cleric and they don't heal at all. And I'm like, seriously, you have healing spells. Most of the time I'm playing somebody that doesn't. Like, I can't fucking heal. You need to heal. If you want us to survive this fight, like, I do my job with really good proficiency. I need you to just keep me alive so I can keep fucking up whatever person's day. Like,
exactly. Take care of your fucking teammates, man.
So
if you want to be the dickhead and be like, oh, mine, it's like, okay, but don't be surprised when other people do it to you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh man. Clerics,
and 90% of the time they're upset.
Like, that's unfortunate for them. I'm dealing with this. I'm over here helping the druid who actually is awesome.
It's like the dickhead fighting like one beholder by himself or theirself, and then you're over here helping another person who's like pretty well off compared to the other person, and you're just like, I'm gonna help them, and then it's like, but I got a beholder. It's like, you got to behold a problem all of a sudden. I mean, not my fucking problem.
You should have seen it coming. Hey-o!
This beholder planned for this. You did not.
Right. It shouldn't have been a dick. But no, overall, I like I said, they're most of the classes I love, and so Cleric.
I'm actually quite surprised. Like, this is the first time I actually noticed that the core stuff for the cleric stops at 10. Like, I didn't notice that. Everything else is based off of your domain.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's impressive. And I'm not going to say.
I guess technically because they get their Destroy Undead ability keeps going. So like they get
Yeah.
stuff, but it's not.
It's like core stuff, like
Yeah, I mean, it's
additional
kind of like
stuff.
fighters, honestly, because fighters get their primary stuff early, and then it's just they get additional uses of it, you know, periodically. So it's
Do you want to hit more and more and more and more and more?
like, you know, or more stat boosts, or more uses of your second wind, or more uses of your, you know, action surge, or so. Anyway, we're talking about clerics.
Yeah.
No, I love clerics are a really good class.
I really do wish I could play some. I've been trying to figure out if someone in my Discord wants to run a game on a different day, just so I can also be a player. It's been forever since I've played, and it's just I've been trying to find a good class to play. And it's just
well, by the time we're done with these videos, then you'll have a lot of good options.
Yeah, I actually, because of you, I'm very interested in.
Because of you, I never stray too far from a player's handbook. Oh, I just realized that I never switched the, oops.
Fucking Reba just starts coming up. You can't be doing
I
that.
fucking love Reba McEntire.
Dude,
I realized I never changed the thing on the little banner on the bottom. So I've been saying Blood Hunter this whole time.
Oh, no,
until the last, 10 seconds of this video. And then I'm like, look, it's Cleric. It's been Cleric the whole time.
Yeah, totally. We're not gaslighting you. It's been Cleric. You're wrong.
Hey, no, we don't gaslight. Shut the fuck up. Don't make jokes about that.
No, that's understandable, though. It's like, we kind of, I had to film, right before this, and then we just went straight into this.
Yeah.
You didn't have all the time.
Make sure that people could hear you, at least. So I feel like that's more important.
Yeah, you had to, almost completely silence yourself in the first video, because that wasn't something that we, thought of.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah, it is.
It just happens.
But, yeah. So, clerics are good.
Oh my god, I really want to play a cleric now. Every time we go through some shit, we always find something really interesting.
About each
like the
of
barbarian
classes.
just falling off a fucking cliff. Just it's always something interesting that's added to it.
You don't want me as a player. I'm usually like, yes. I'm very helpful. I go, I do the thing, I go along with your there's a permanent fish hook in my fucking mouth because I'm like, yes, I will follow whatever plot hook you throw out there. I will ask the questions of everything. But also you have to deal with the fact that sometimes I was explaining, I'm lawful chaotic. Is what I was explaining to somebody. I was like, I'm lawful chaotic.
I feel that.
Yeah. Anyway. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, this went real fucking weird at the end of it.
It is what it is.
It's good. It's good.
Alright, I'm Kalvin.
I'm Brandon.
Bye.
See you guys.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And now you get to listen to the outro song. And that's the outro song. Yeah.